videotape it and send it in to my instructor. So if you could refrain from making any odd noises or anything during it, that would be really, really cool. And parents and older members, if I could get feedback from you after some time, that would be really great. Suicide can stop. Be a friend. Last year, there was a 15-year-old sophomore from Blaine High School named Aaron. He loved to fish and play baseball, hang out with friends, and he loved to make people smile. But last November, Aaron committed suicide. Aaron was my cousin. I am here today to push you to take action against suicide. We will be exploring the problem suicide a little deeper, and then I will present my solution. The problem we will be addressing is suicide. Define suicide. The act or instance of taking one's own life voluntarily and intentionally, according to Merriam-Webster's dictionary. Signs include depression, hopelessness, isolation, loss of interest in activities previously enjoyed, severe shift in mood, visiting loved ones, or writing a note. We have already heard Aaron's story. He had recently quit baseball, which he had played since he was a little boy. Suicide is a big problem. It affects all ages and genders, but mostly males. According to the OEDC health statistics, 10 out of every 100,000 people in the United States committed suicide in 2009. The following information is from an article entitled Suicide by Dr. Roxanne Edwards and Dr. Melissa Stoppler. Suicide is the 8th leading cause of death in males and the 16th leading cause of death in females. Males ages 10 to 14 commit suicide twice as often as their female peers. Males ages 15 to 19 commit suicide 5 times as often, and males ages 20 to 24 commit suicide 10 times as often. From 1950 to 1990, the suicide rate in the U.S. increased by 300%. Expert Steve Gray, President and CEO of Family Innovations Incorporated in Maplewood, Minnesota, says this: suicide rates are on the rise, according to the CDC, Center for Disease Control. In 2006, 33,000 people committed suicide. With the severity of psychological stressors on the rise, such as economic, political, spiritual, military involvement, etc., the number of suicides is on the rise and will continue to increase. There is 1 suicide for every 25 attempted suicides. White males are significantly more likely to end their lives with suicide than any other group, end quote. Suicide not only affects the victims, but the survivors. Dr. Madeline S. Gold, PhD, MPH, in an article entitled Suicide, says that 100 to 200 of the teen suicides are the result of a suicide cluster, which is when there is one original suicide and kids from maybe the same school or the same church group, or even through the media, heard of the suicide and decided to make the same decision. At my cousin's high school, he was the 3rd suicide in his semester, and I have another friend who also has a friend who lost 3 friends to suicide in a period of 2 weeks. The consequences can be devastating. Again, according to Mr. Gray, the consequences of suicide are extensive and long-lasting. Suicide for a religious family creates a spiritual crisis as they wonder whether or not their loved one will be in heaven. Suicide creates a gaping hole for those left behind, as that person is not there to fulfill their role. There is significant shame surrounding the type of death. There is anger and disbelief at the selfish act, and significant and lasting trauma for the immediate family. This trauma can lead to increased depression and anxiety, fear, anger towards God, distrust, etc. There is also significant trauma for those who discover the suicide, such as paramedics or police officers. As an example, Aaron's parents, 2 of the kindest and most caring people you could ever hope to meet, are battling depression, taking prescription medication, and going to therapy on a regular basis. Now that we have established the problem, I would like to suggest a solution. The solution I would like to suggest is to be a friend. Call, check in, get them some help. I believe that this is the best solution because it takes care of the whole person. It's not a medication, it doesn't just treat the symptoms. It makes people feel wanted and loved and needed. And it is as simple as listening. So, how do you be a friend? I have come up with a solution that I call the 3 L's. Learn, listen, and leap. Learn. Educate yourself. There are tens of thousands of organizations that are dedicated to suicide prevention, such as the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention. But the organization that I would like to promote today is called To Write Love on Her Arms, and this is their mission statement. To Write Love on Her Arms is a nonprofit movement dedicated to presenting hope and finding help for people struggling with depression, addiction, self-injury, and suicide. Tualoha exists to encourage, inform, inspire, and also to invest directly into treatment and recovery. Read about what symptoms are and how you can help. After you have learned, listen. Listen to your friends and loved ones. Listen to them when they tell you their problems. Use that knowledge that you have created and put it into action, because what good is knowledge if you don't use it? After you have learned and listened, leap. Don't be afraid to make that step. If you find a friend or a loved one who you feel may be struggling with suicide, talk to another adult or an expert and make sure that they get the help that they need. The cost of time and effort is remarkably less than the cost of a life. It'll take you 2 clicks of a mouse, maybe 20 minutes reading on symptoms and how you can help, and you could save a life. If these principles are applied, there will be results. There will be fewer deaths. Their results may take time, but they will come. Just be patient. Not only will there be fewer deaths, but if we lean on each other and confide in each other, there will be stronger relationships as well. I believe that this solution will work. We have a problem, suicide, but with the 3 L's solution, learn, listen, and leap, I believe that we can end the suffering that suicide brings. To begin the solution, visit www.towriteloveonherarms.com. You just might save someone's life.